Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Blu-Roy Movies. What have we got for you today? We've got some subscriber mail. I've got some gifts from our good friend Larry, and I've actually got 2 or 3 things that I've picked up myself. So there you go. Let's crack right on with it, and I'll start with the subscriber mail. A few days ago, my good friend Sam from Sammy G's World of Cinema, he reached out to me and said he'd wanted to send me a couple of things, if that was okay. And of course, Sam, I'm always up for that. Now, Sam, he's a fantastic guy. He's a young guy, but belies that youngness is a vast knowledge of cinema from every genre you can imagine, every nation you can imagine. Sam is like a walking encyclopedia of cinema, puts me to shame. Absolutely fabulous, the lad is. And such a nice guy too, absolutely wonderful lad. We're always messaging, and in fact, Sam, sometimes he has that much say to me that he won't type it all out. He'll send it in a speech message which goes on for about 5 minutes, and that absolutely makes me smile. I love receiving them because it's such an infectious character that brightens up my day when he does it. So Sam, absolutely wonderful. Let's get into it, show you what Sam sent me. Now, Sam, he was very lucky enough to win Stuart George's competition for 500 subscribers. I think it was 3 or 4 4Ks that Stuart was absolutely incredibly giving away for his competition, which, incidentally, Stuart, wonderful channel. A lot of 80s and 90s stuff he likes, war films, horror films, westerns like myself. I'll put the links down below to both these two, both Sam and Stuart, because absolutely 2 wonderful guys who deserve as many subscriptions as they can get, because brilliant viewing and 2 great guys. So first up, that Sam won on Stuart's competition, but Sam already had this, and by the good graces asked Stuart if it's all right to pass it on to me, which he said it totally was. It's The Wizard of Oz on 4K. Absolute classic film. Always reminds me of childhood Christmas. As soon as my dad used to come home with the Christmas TV times, you'd look through to see when the Wizard was Oz was on the TV. It was on every year without fail over Christmas. I can now retire my Blu-ray copy, and I've heard, I haven't stuck this in a player yet, but I've heard that the transfer is quite spectacular on it, so it might be able to clear up the myth of whether or not there was a dead munchkin hanging. Have you heard the urban legend? Some people reckon there's a dead munchkin, like, who killed himself on the set of the film, hanging, but apparently that's been debunked, and I can now see more clearly what it is. I think somebody said it's a big bird like a crane, but I'll have a look. Cheers, Sam and Stuart. And also with that, Stuart said, Sam, beg your pardon, said he'll send me something to go with it, and it's brand new, factory sealed, The Worst Person in the World. I'm not familiar with this film. I think it's a Scandinavian Norwegian film, if I'm not mistaken, by Joachim Trier, which again, a director I'm not familiar with. I haven't seen any of his other work. I think this is like a character study, which I'm down for. Sam has watched this himself, and he says it's very good, and he thinks he'll like it. So I'm pretty sure with Sam, if it's a recommendation of Sam, that I will like it. I'll get that watched soon, mate, and I'll let you know what I think. So yeah, again, wonderful. Thanks very much, Sam. Absolutely fantastic. You always brighten up my day, and that brightened up my day indeed when that dropped through the letterbox. Next up, I've got 3 that my friend Larry sent me. Regular viewers to the channel will know that Larry always looks after me and spoils me with stuff, and the past couple of weeks, no exception. He's sent me 3 things, and 3 wonderful things, I'm sure you'll agree. The first one up being Triple Cross with Christopher Plummer and Yul Brynner. Just look at that artwork. Absolutely wonderful. That artwork already is screaming, get me in the player and get me watched. Again, a film I'm not familiar with. I think I've heard the title before, but don't know anything about it. Let's have a quick look at the blurb on the back. During World War II, Suave, witty, daring, handsome. They could almost be describing me. And utterly amoral. Oh, I don't know about that bit. British safecracker Eddie Chapman is quite prepared for whichever side offers him the greatest thrill and the most money. Rather than face a lengthy jail sentence, Chapman opts to act as a spy for the Nazis. But not everyone trusts him and doubts his loyalty to the cause. Sounds like they're wise. But with good reason, because Chapman has been offered to act as a double agent for the British for a fee. Thus a legend is born, but just how far is Chapman prepared to lie and scheme to help one side win the war? That sounds great, doesn't it? That'll be one I'll be watching sooner rather than later. Oh, directed by Terence Young. I do like me Terence Young films. Trevor Howard in it as well. Romy Schneider. Oh, Gert Frobe. He was Goldfinger, wasn't he? Gert Frobe. Yeah, really cracking cast. Really cracking synopsis. Thank you, Larry. That's one I'll be gone too soon, mate. I'll let you know what I think of that. And also, Larry sent me through. Now, when this arrived, I've been talking myself about ordering myself a copy because it's a film that's always escaped me. And when it arrived, I couldn't remember whether I'd ordered it myself. Now, James told me I'd ordered it, so I had me believing until Larry said, no, actually, he'd ordered it for me. It's the H.G. Wells adaptation, The Time Machine, which again is a classic sci-fi film that I've just never got round to, and I've always wanted to watch it, so now I can get round to it. Who's in it? Oh, Rod Taylor, Alan Young, Sebastian Cabot. Yeah, good cast, and one I know I'm going to enjoy. Not to sound, I don't want this to sound like I'm ungrateful or anything, but it would have been nice if it come with a slip. But in the HMV Premium Collection, that's the only ones that I'm really worried about the slips. So hopefully I might be able to grab one somewhere along the line. But again, I'm not meaning to sound that ungrateful, Larry, I promise. But you know what I mean, you know how anal I am with those ones a little bit. Absolutely wonderful. Next up from Larry, he sent me another war film I'd heard of and a vintage classics collection one, which thanks to Larry, actually, I've got quite a good collection of them going on down here. You can't quite see it, it's out of camera, but that's Angel 1-5 with Jack Hawkins. Now, I do really like my airborne World War II or even World War One films, so that's another one that's going to be right up my street. Unfortunately, the writing is in so small in such a poor colour that I'm struggling to read it. Let's give it a go. It might be a struggle. In the summer of 1940, young volunteer reservist TB Skeptic Baird is forced to crash his Hurricane on the RAF fighter station runway in order to avoid a collision with another plane. Injured in the accident, he incurs the wrath of squadron leader Tiger Small, Jack Hawkins, who grounds Baird, transferring him to the operations centre until he recovers. Baird is desperate to get airborne, but Tiger refuses his protest. However, when risk of a bombing attack threatens the airfield, Baird takes his chance to be reinstated and returns to the skies. God, that was a struggle. Why do they do that? Why do they not put me in really tiny right? Even with glasses, I'm struggled with that one. But another great synopsis, and another one I'm sure I'm going to like. Larry, as always, thanks very much, mate. Awesome. Now, how many have I picked up myself? 4 titles I've grabbed myself. Quite reserved for a fortnight for me, that is. The first one being, this came onto Amazon for about £5-6. A film I haven't seen since the VHS days. I had this on VHS and I used to watch it all the time, but not seen it since. Which is Buster. The story of one of the great train robbers. I'm not sure it's a story of Biggs, is it? Oh no, of course it's not. It's Buster Edwards. Duh. Phil Collins, who did an absolutely superb job on this. Julie Walters, an actress I like. You all know the song that accompanies it that was a big hit for Phil Collins. So I look forward to watching that on Blu-ray. Apparently, some of the guys on the Movie Mad Facebook page said it's one of the worst Blu-ray transfers ever. So we'll have a look. It's got to be an upgrade for the VHS I used to have years ago. I know that, but we'll give it a try. I'm sure we'll still enjoy it. Next up, you saw me going through. If you've been watching me weekly watches, I've been watching the Jurassic Park films. Didn't own any of the Jurassic World titles, so when I saw this, again, I think it's about £6. The first two on 4K for £6, absolute steal. I think it's still readily available on eBay. If you ain't got them two, like I say, for £6 to add them both in 4K is an absolute no-brainer. So I can get on with that. Then I need to get, which I'm not looking forward to, a copy of the latest one, which was absolutely appalling, apparently. And next up, I've been really having a bit of a Western kick again. If you've been watching my watches, you'll have seen that. Another Western I haven't seen, A Man Called Horse, £4 from CX, starring Richard Harris. Now, apparently, Larry tells me this has got a sequel, which I didn't know. Return of the Man Called Horse. Man Called Horse 2, something like that. A man who got horse from talking too much, I don't know, something like that. Anyway, so I'll have to have a look out. Well, I'll watch that first, see if I enjoy it, and if I want to watch the sequel. And last for this video, I picked up from the Arrow sale just one title, very reserved. I'm a good boy, really. And The Burning, a slasher film that every of you guys who like your horror and you talk about slashers, you always say this is one of the best ones. And it's one that I've never seen, so I thought I'd grab that in the sale and give it a watch. So that's it. Nice select stack for the last couple of weeks. Once again, thanks Sam, you're amazing. Thanks Larry, you're amazing. You guys know that. You all take care, have a good rest of your day, and all be good.